today with this truth. God was faithful then. God is faithful now. God is forever faithful, and Jesus is proof of that. He was faithful then. God was. God is faithful now. He is forever faithful, and Jesus is proof of that. Imagine a man. Imagine a man. Can you see him? He's alive, but he's laying in a ditch on the side of the freeway. How did he get there? Well, he was trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good Samaritan. He saw two hitchhikers stranded on the side of the freeway. So he pulled over thinking, at least let me help them get to the next exit. Let me help them. Well, instead of this man helping them, these two hitchhikers became hijackers and helped themselves to his car. And in the process, they beat him. Can you see him? Trying to do the right thing. Trying to be nice. Trying to be noble. Trying to be a good, trying to help. But they took advantage of him. And in the process, they beat him, taped his hands and his feet together, covered his mouth with duct tape, and discarded him into the ditch. So he's lying there. He's frustrated. Frustrated that God would let his attempt to do good be returned with evil. And he would tell God about it, about his frustrations, except his mouth is taped shut. Can you see him? Can you see his frustration? And to add insult to injury, as he lay in this ditch, it's the hottest moment of the hottest day of summer. So the man is sweating profusely with no way out. And then suddenly he feels it. One drop, 2 drops, 5 drops, 10 drops, until it felt like the heavens were crying with him, cascading down a torrential downpour. It was raining. And again, he felt like God had added insult to injury, until the water began to puddle around him. And he realized that because of the water, he could loosen the adhesive and pull his hands free, and then release his feet and eventually open his mouth. What would he say? Would it be frustration? This is what he said. He said, "Great is thy faithfulness." Sometimes the rain in our lives is to rescue us, but we cannot see it because we're overwhelmed with circumstances. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Great is thy faithfulness. That song probably sounds familiar. Maybe you heard it growing up. Or maybe you read Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 19 through 23, where it says, because you gotta work your way up to the greatest thy faithfulness moment. Some stuff that happens that leads you to that moment. Verse 19, it says, I remember my affliction and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I well remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. Has your soul ever been downcast within you? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Where the sorrows in life are so heavy that you say, my soul is sinking. I'm in a rut. I don't know how to get out. I'm in a ditch. My soul is in the ditch. I'm hurting, God. I need help. What do you do? He says, I well remember then, and my soul is downcast within me. But I love verse 21 because he says, yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. Not because of anything that you've done, because of the Lord's great love, you are not. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. If you pay attention to this passage, you realize that it starts with him saying, I remember my afflictions. That's the first thing you want to write on your paper, on your handout. Remember your afflictions. I know in this world of therapy and counseling, a lot of times we tell you to let stuff go and forget about it and move on. But sometimes you need to remember. Sometimes you need to remember what you have been through and what God has brought you through. Sometimes you need to remember your afflictions. Ever heard the saying, if memory serves me correct? Anybody heard that? If memory serves me correct. Sometimes you need to remember some stuff that God has brought you through because your memory is meant to serve you by correcting the way you see life. Y'all know how life can hit sometimes. Sometimes life can hit you in a way that impairs your vision and defects your perspective, causing you not to see things the way that God wants you to see them. Yeah, I know you want to forget some stuff. Some of the stuff that's happened to you, you don't want to remember it, and that's okay sometimes, but there are other times when instead of avoiding trips down memory lane, you need to ease on down the road of reflection and remembrance. Because memory is meant to mature you. Your memory is meant to create dependence on God, the God who brought you through everything that he's brought you through. So sometimes, I'll talk about me, and studying for this lesson, what you do is you say, because you're trying to fully understand, the whole thing is we're trying to fully understand God's faithfulness. I know I've been hearing it all my life. I appreciate the Bible Project, but I really want to understand with fresh eyes. You see what I'm saying? I get it. He's faithful then, he's faithful now. Jesus is proof of that. But I want to see it with fresh eyes. I want to fully understand more than I ever have, the faithfulness of God. Don't you? Yes. I want to know that with fresh eyes. So you start out you got a Rolodex of memories just going through some stuff so you're going to take me back then. So you want me to go back to, all those times when I fell asleep while I was driving. All those times when I fell asleep when I was driving on the way to the University of Memphis because I worked at FedEx at night trying to get to school. Why they putting classes at 8 o'clock in the morning anyway? I don't get it. So I work, I'm going to the University of Memphis, I'm trying to get to class. I wake up and my car is headed straight for a wreck. Great is thy faithfulness.
Yes.
Great is thy faithfulness. Sometimes you have to do that. And I'm going to go a little deeper. Sometimes it's some stuff that you've forgotten. And you don't want to remember because it's some tough, ugly stuff. Get away from me. I don't want no parts of you. I don't want to remember that. And God is saying today, it may be time to take a trip down memory lane, ease on down the road, and just remember those afflictions, because that memory is meant to mature you and show you God's track record. And I'm willing to bet, if you're anything like me, that God has a good track record with you. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that. God has a good track. He's gotten you through some stuff. He's gotten you out of some ditches that you could not have gotten yourself out of, and you know it. So you want to remember your afflictions. Not for the sake of revisiting the trauma, but to help you realize how good God is. And to help you see how faithful He is. And the fact that He'll never leave you or forsake. He's always been there. It may have been tough. It may have been hard, but He was there. And proof that He was there is that you are here today. And that you are not consumed